So this is how the story goes, and I swear it's true. It totally happened to a friend of mine. You wouldn't know her. She gets on the tube late at night, right? Central London, midweek. There's 3 other people in the carriage, 2 men with a woman in between them. The 2 men look kind of shifty, and the woman is just staring straight ahead. None of them are talking to each other. My friend is a little bit suspicious. Are they junkies? Have they had an argument? What's going on? At the next stop, a guy gets on. He glances at the silent trio and makes straight for my friend. "Hey there, how are you doing?" he says. Well, my friend is confused. She's never met this guy before. She has no idea who he is, but he's acting like they've known each other for years. He stands right in front of her. He leans down, and he whispers, "Get off at the next station, if you know what's good for you." Well, now my friend is even more confused, and more than a little frightened. But she does as the man says. She gets off at the next stop. The man follows. He comes up to her, and he says, "I'm sorry if I scared you, but I'm a doctor. The woman opposite you was dead." This is a classic urban legend with many variations. There's one where the doctor character is just another passenger, and he's already on the train when the protagonist arrives. He knows the woman is dead because he saw them drag the corpse onto the train, although this does raise a number of questions regarding the competence of the 2 men. Did they hope to brazen it out in front of their witness? Who knows? Some variations have the woman with a knife or a pair of scissors in her back. There's a version where the woman was strangled on the train itself before our protagonist boards. There's a version that doesn't have the helpful man, where the 2 men leave the woman, and she collapses on the floor when the train begins to move. The 2 men might be 2 women, or the woman might be a man. The helpful man might already be on the train, he might get on at the next stop, or he might be the ticket inspector. And it's not limited to the Underground. Variants have been told on other train services in Britain. It's been told in New York on the subway. There's a version on the New York subway where the protagonist is seated opposite a lone man whom she thinks is staring at her in a rather lewd manner. Eventually she gets up and slaps him hard, only to discover that, oh no, he was dead all along. This version dates back to the 1940s at least. There's even a version that predates mass transit where the dead passenger and their companions are on a stagecoach. I came across a much simpler version a few years back set on the Circle line, back before it was extended to Hammersmith, when it actually was a circular service. In this version, there's no innocent passenger, no helpful man, and no murderers. Just a man seated on the tube, going round and round in circles, until the train is taken out of service at the end of the day and it's discovered that he is an ex-passenger he has ceased to be. A variant has the passenger found at Northfields on the Piccadilly line. The Underground lends itself very well to this kind of story because of the longitudinal seating. It just makes the whole thing much easier. The protagonist can sit opposite the trio, the helpful man can survey the situation and come over. And one of the unwritten rules of the tube is, do not speak to other passengers. I know, unfriendly Londoners, look, I just don't need 200 new friends a day, okay? Did it ever happen? Well, bodies on the Underground are sadly far from unknown. Accidents happen and there are suicides when people throw themselves in front of trains. There have even been cases of murder, such as that of Countess Teresa Lubienka, who was stabbed at Gloucester Road in 1957. Indeed, there was something of a scandal about a decade ago when it was revealed that bodies recovered from such events were kept in storage cupboards. Although, in the defence of the station staff, I'd ask, where else are they supposed to put them? It's not like the average station is equipped with a mortuary slab. There was an incident in New York in 1999 when one Ignacio Mendez passed away on the New York subway, and the following year a similar death took place on a New York bus. One Franz von Rintelen was found on a tube train at South Kensington in 1949. Von Rintelen had been interned as a suspected Nazi spy, but I could find no mention of anything sinister. In all honesty, I think this is just someone's flight of fancy that spread all over the world. Trains are a useful literary device because they bring strangers together. Leo Tolstoy was inspired to write Anna Karenina by the possibilities railways offered for coincidence. The concept of a dead body on the tube train is appealing as a horror story because it combines the familiar with the unfamiliar. We know nothing about our fellow tube passengers. They could be anyone. Anyway, mind the doors, won't you? Hello all, I hope you enjoyed this almost certainly untrue tale from the tube. If you did, please do hit the like button and consider subscribing for more. My next video is going to be dealing with a very different variation of a corpse on a train. So stick around for that. Thanks as ever to my generous donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are the helpful passenger to my frightened protagonist. And I'll see you all again very soon for another tale from the tube.